Just thinking.
Everybody's shopping and using the cards.
Okay, now you're back. Now I can make a motion.
Motion out of camera by who?
Okay.
All in favor?
So we're gonna this is the motion to approve the benefit package.
We just made a motion to come out of camera.
Come on.
Come on
camera.
camera. Sorry, yes, I'm sorry.
All in favor?
Yes.
All in favor?
Okay, now back to policy or business 6.2, policy 6, employee hiring and employee process amendment. So what's the resolution that was sitting at the table?
Hold on. It was to approve the amended policy 6, employee hiring and employee process amendment.
And there were 2 in favor, 1 against. Is that still?
Yeah, I'm in favor.
Oh, so it's all in favor.
Okay. Okay. Wonderful.
Oh, did you make sure that you added that the amendment was to strip the Blue Cross?
Yes.
Okay. Everybody all in favor of the motion?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. Financial. Take us through there, please.
Well, we are pretty close to that, well, this is for ending November 30th. I'd say now, as of December 30th, we are pretty close to that surplus deficit is pretty well. We're using our surplus as we're paying everything off at the end of the year. With all the requisitions, education tax, all that stuff is all being paid out to this month. So I'd say once payroll is done, we've covered our surplus we have there. We'll soon see in January when we bring you the new. But everything's so far so good, we're on par. We did our, we just issued our 2 checks as passed by you guys' resolutions at the last meeting. Our deposit for the municipal office. We just signed off the check today to send that off and the agreement. And as you move forward through to the capital expense summary on page 69, I'm just gonna jump forward. We did lots of work to make sure that we met our MSI requirements, that we don't lose any of our grant money. So we have now issued the 2 checks that cover off this MSI expenditure that we needed to make sure that we used up, and we have hit it.
Yeah, that's good. There was a lot. So the one for Nelson was around 95 or something.
95,000.
95,000, which covers off our $89,659.31 that we had to spend. I just wanted to make sure that we hit our 30% deposit. And we've got the agreement. And so the 95,000 check will go today. And then we got all our engineering costs for everything. That's all in this check run too, which is been calculated inside the MSI grants.
$82,000-ish.
Yeah, 82-ish, which is 50-odd thousand for our stormwater management, and then the other part is for the site development for the office.
And garbage.
And garbage, yep. Main thing was to meet that goal and deadline, so we did not lose the grant, and we have.
Okay.
Yeah, and there was some other summer villages in the same boat, and I know that, there was a note for municipal affairs to help with other municipalities. So they just want to clean this up, but you know, when you really look at what happened, not enough notice was given, in my opinion, but if they're getting rid of the MSI, so.
I contacted them to see if there was any way we could get an extension, because I was concerned on how much we would have to do, so I've been really finagling with Lori. But in talking to them, there was gonna be no extensions. Whatever you do not spend, they will pull back.
And this one, just covers up until the 2018, right?
Yes.
So we're gonna have to keep our eyeballs on.
Yes, but I've already got discussion options for you guys during budget to help make sure we don't run into this again.
So,
My
so
plan-
just getting back to, the yearly thing, so you think that by the time we pay all of our requisitions and stuff like that, we're going to be fairly even for the year?
Yes,
Like
Because our only big expense left now for the year is paying like
School.
the school tax or whatever it is or whatever.
yeah,
yes,
that's a big one.
That's $72,000.
yeah, our biggest, but let's just say this check run that we just did for December, including the grant stuff we have to spend, is 300,000.
But the grants are a big
Yes.
part of that, right?
Yes, but this check run is 300,000.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
95 of that was grant money, right? Because you said
About 100 and some thousand of it was grant money.
so we've got a surplus right now of 225,000, so
So at least
300,
100,
so we should be okay.
we'll be okay, it's just 150,000 for sure is just normal expenses, and then we haven't even done payroll yet.
Yeah, but that's, yeah, okay.
So I'd say we're close, I'll be able to tell you more as of January at our next meeting, where we're sitting by the end of the year.
Okay, good, thanks.
okay, so,
So basically, it's your revenue expenses, that's all been in here, your capital, we just walked through all that.
Check.
Your check run and listing was, for November was in there. And your November,
I had a quick question about the check run. There was the dog violation there that, do we pass that on to the dog's owner?
okay, unfortunately, what happens with, you make up bylaws. And of course, we don't collect a revenue source for dogs. Some fines were issued. We may be able to collect that revenue depending on the court date.
Okay,
But you will still have expenses. Unfortunately, for bylaw enforcement, there is no real, you'll never break even on the
Okay.
expenses you're going to incur.
yeah, like a dog infraction, sometimes it easily costs you $1,000.
okay, no problem.
And 2 tickets were issued. And there is a court date, and we did have to get a lawyer ready. Everything's in place, that all has a cost.
Okay, so
I was
we need
seeking a
a
motion
motion.
to accept financial reports 7.1 to 7.4. As presented.
And 7.6.
Oh, you want that one in there too? I was just gonna have that as information, but we can do that too.
Yeah, but those are all information items.
And
7.5, I needed
Yes,
actual
and you-
resolution.
Yeah.
So I
Okay,
can make the motion to accept the 7.1 to 7.4 as presented,
And
and
7.6.
7.6.
and 7.6, yes,
Thank you.
All in favor?
yes,
Okay. So 7.5, so what basically that means is we take over the new year, because we're getting to the end of the year, we take the 2023 budget and push it into the 2024 year. The same budget, so that we can still spend money. Otherwise, and then as soon as we pass our new budget, it will probably in May or whatever.
Yeah,
April, May area, then that just disappears. And takes over.
okay,
so what I'm looking for from council is I'm taking your 2023 budget. And I'm asking you guys to approve that 2023 operating budget, just the operating. Of the 899. 782.72 as the 2024 interim operating budget until final budgets are approved. And this makes sure that we meet our MGA requirements, sections 242 and 248 of the Municipal Government Act. The reason we do it this way is because don't have all of our assessment numbers, we don't have year end done to be able to give you clear budget numbers and requisition amounts and all that. Everything's just kind of getting tidied up at the end of the year. And then this way in January, we can come back and start doing our budget meetings to be able to know exactly what our costs had been and where the percentage changes are going to be.
So we need a motion for that. I'll move that.
Okay. So,
Lauren motions,
hold on, to accept the 2024 interim budget, operating budget as presented.
to approve the 2023 operating budget of 899,782.72 as the 2024 interim
Can
operating.
you see the number again, 89, sorry. Right there. Let's see. $8,999,782.72 as presented.
As the 2024 interim operating budget.
So you want, okay.
It has to be listed clearly.
I have to accept it. 2024 interim operating budget of $899,782.72 as presented, or you want to get
To accept the 2023,
you don't want to call it.
2023 operating budget as the 2024
Okay. That's 2024.
interim operating budget until final budgets are approved. Exactly that.
By to accept the 2023 operating budget of $899,782.72 as a 2024 interim operating budget presented until budgets are approved later
Later in the year.
in the year. You can vote. Sounds good.
All in favor?
yes, I agree.
Okay. Council reports, you got anything yet? No.
Yeah, I got a couple of things. So went to the ambulance meeting and there's 2 new ambulances in operation right now and they're working really well. So that's good. And they're really happy with that. The other, and they're decommissioning some of the old ambulances that are costing a lot to sort of run. The other thing is the waste management. We can sort of expect fairly large increases in requisitions over the year for waste management because they just think that there's going to be huge cost increases in running the landfills and things like that. So just be prepared for the possibility of, you know, of the requisitions from the landfill being sort of higher than the rate of inflation. And there's going to be a planning meeting in January, which I'm going to go to, and we'll know more about that in the future here.
Are some of these cost increases having to do with the producers?
With the what?
The new producer legislation?
Yeah, there is new legislation out. Yeah, there is. No, the costs are, some of the new legislations actually are putting the costs back on the producers, so that should actually reduce the costs actually, but the costs, they just feel like there's going to be, like, for employee retention and cost of vehicles and things like that, they just think that it's going to be, the cost of running the landfill is going to get significantly more expensive over the next few years. But there is new legislation coming out as far as producers are going to have to pay the cost of recycling some of the materials that they produce.
Yeah, I went last week on that webinar about that new program. And there's a lot of information there, and it's I don't know, I emailed back to them, and I just thought all the waste that's going to be put back on the businesses eventually, well, it's going to come back on people buying stuff. Is going to have to pay for it, period.
Yeah,
But it'll also do some protection of, like, the recycle of our resources will be better taken care of. But it's kind of a really confusing, and how they're going to ever keep track of it, I have no idea.
well, that I found it really, yeah, I found it. I agree, Lauren. I found it hard to sort of figure out how they're going to really determine who pays for what, but I'm assuming somebody's going to work that out.
Yeah, like if it's made in China and it comes to Walmart's going to be paying. But then there's also another piece, if it's a franchise, let's say like Boston Pizza or something else, then it could come from the franchise itself or the owners of the franchise. Like, it's just it's going to be very difficult.
Let's just say that on either end, you're gonna see an increase on your waste management requisition, and every consumer is gonna see an increase on the products they buy.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be passed down.
Yeah. So just a heads up that it's something that we're going to have to budget for down the line.
Do you know when they will know what the requisition amount might be? Did they can kind of give a rough date or month in the new year that they will have that for us?
For this year? I think I've got it.
Yeah. You have the 2024 requisition amount?
The 2023 requisition amount was $72 per person. And the 2024 is going to be $83 a person.
$83 a person.
Yeah.
Based on
But,
hundred and eighty.
but we've got that formula, right, where we work out full-time and part-time and stuff like that, right?
Okay, can you forward me those details so that I can start putting that into my budget folder for calculations?
Sure.
Perfect. I knew there was a reason why I was waiting to start.
Yeah, it doesn't look very promising as far as. I gotta kind of monitor the tax implications of other municipalities in the province, and some of them have been set already. And boy, oh boy,
I'm seeing in the 5, 6,
yeah, there were some 10
yeah,
and 11, so I don't know. We gotta be prudent and we gotta be careful.
yeah.
It's.
Most of the stuff we're gonna do is going to be through grants, just so you're aware, that's my process discussion with you guys is where I'm moving.
Yeah, we gotta, and we, especially we gotta watch, the requisitions as well. And also the wages is a big thing. And stuff like that, the big items. But, I mean, it's impossible for us to get to an area, like I was really surprised, Alex, for example, no increase. And they've been doing that for about 4 or 5 years. I'm just a little, I know that happened one time with the housing authority, and man, it was then when it finally caught up, then the requisitions went up, I think 20 or 30%.
I got a housing authority meeting tomorrow night, so I can't give you any information on this month because I haven't, missed the last meeting, so I don't know.
But no, this is where all the numbers are gonna start.
So if
flying.
I find out tomorrow night what our requisitions are gonna be for 24, I can just push them
Yeah.
on you.
You betcha,
Tomorrow,
that's,
Thursday, well, won't be until when now,
Well, you just still,
Yeah.
she still gets it to
Yeah.
her phone and
yeah.
yeah,
I can
just,
find that
yeah.
out.
As
Find
soon
any of
as,
that information, how we're doing, blah, 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 because
Yeah.
that meeting is always one night after our regular council meeting, so I don't know.
Mhm.
No idea.
yeah, as soon as they tell you what the requisition amount's gonna be,
Oh,
just
yeah.
just tell them to forward an
Yeah.
email to us with
Okay.
that amount.
we should pretty late in the season.
Yeah,
That one, it seems like.
cause then I can start building the table, so I know exactly where things are changing.
Okay. So that's it, Bob?
Yeah, that's it for me.
Okay. So I just had, like, for budget purposes, there's a few pieces in land use bylaw that I think we should look at. So we can, when we do a bylaw amendment, we can do maybe 3 items out of there if we want, or 2. We don't have to open it up to the full change.
I had a chat about this. We need to talk about land use bylaw within the budget realm, because there is, no matter what you do, if there, whatever you're gonna make for changes, if you're gonna open up a couple of things, you're gonna be opening up the bylaw. So whether we deal with 3 items, 2 items, you're still gonna have to go through the same process
Right.
of, we gotta make the changes, you gotta advertise, we have to do a public hearing. So I wanna make sure we have a budget number, whether it's small or not, or if we're gonna do it through grants, then let's talk about that and then we will schedule it.
Yeah, well, that's how it goes, and generally in
Yeah.
that, the public hearing would be at the same as our council meeting, when we make them small
Yes.
changes.
Yeah.
Just goes. Okay, so there was that, and then I also had, dog bylaw. Whether it should be looked at as far as the fines. And bring them up to what, Alberta Animal Services, like they wrote the bylaw for us.
Yeah.
So maybe there's some changes, we maybe should just question them whether we need a review or not.
I wanna go through this ticket process first. Since we've got the lawyer in place and we've got all that, and then I'm gonna open that discussion, and that's part of the budget.
Okay. And then also, I don't wanna put this to bed, is Airbnbs and,
That's under the land use bylaw.
yeah. I'm not to scare anybody that's listening that have them already, because we'd have to. In the places that it's been done before. They've had the option of grandfathering in the existing ones on the same. Rules that are now, which we don't have any, right?
Yeah, and I wanna know what the federal government has actually put in their legislation too. I don't know how that all plays together, so there's a lot of work here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did
So
you have?
just a quick thing as far as Airbnbs and stuff, I mean, I guess it's called Airbnb now, but I guess for years people have just rented their places out, right?
Yeah. It doesn't it would include every.
Short-term rentals.
Short-term rentals,
rentals.
period.
Yeah,
So what they've done in most places is because it's become a real problem, is that the minimum rental period was 30 days. So then that gets rid of the weekenders party. And that's how they do it. New York City just did it. Honolulu has done it for years.
Right, I think the reason that those places or Edmonton and all that are looking at it is because they have a shortage of
Housing,
housing.
but also the partying.
Well, the partying can come under your community standards bylaws and things like that, so that's the difference, right? Your noise, all that kind of stuff falls under that bylaw. Your short-term rental, the reason they're stepping down in the larger places is because they are now taking up actual accommodation space for those people that there's limited housing now. I don't know, is that a real issue in your municipality?
Not yet.
So that's just something that you might want to, in your budget discussions, do you want to allocate a certain amount of money to deal with an issue that maybe isn't an issue? I don't know. But that's what your budget deliberations are gonna talk
There's one that happened over at Roshan Sands.
about.
And absolutely not acceptable. Weekend, nothing, right next door. Absolutely. Privacy is gone, partying all night. And if the municipality is responsible through the community standards bylaw, then we're gonna have to be responsible to have a bylaw officer or someone to call the RCMP out there and settle it down.
Well, every resident has a right to call the RCMP. Especially on noise infringements and stuff like that, cause they are part of the bylaws that they have to enforce. All our partying. If it's affecting at a very late hour, you should be calling the RCMP. It should be being documented and put into play.
But I still, like, I'm really serious about this, I'm still thinking that. Why should a member of our community have to phone every second weekend because there's a party going on next door to them? And Like, sometimes you get one person renting it and then there's 20 show up all weekend. Like, it's a serious thing.
Yeah.
I have no doubt about it.
But if we start enforcing, like you said, and the RCMP have been called. And then we call in our bylaw to respond and start providing the tickets too. Then eventually, a landowner is gonna get tired of receiving tickets all the time. They're gonna take some onus and responsibility.
Well, something has to be done because I'm just
so-
scared to hell.
So maybe it's budgeting for more of our law enforcement, so we can actually have a bylaw officer come out on the weekend. That is a budgetary item, no doubt. And it's time to maybe start enforcing some of these things that we do have. And start going in that route.
Okay, next thing I had was the water debenture. Did you talk to them?
I haven't yet, so I was going to start going through all that once we finalize this check run and stuff. I wanna get everything organized.
Okay.
Budget item still,
Yeah,
okay, just double checking.
Yeah, what it is we may have a chance if we choose to pay off the debenture
yeah, I
for the
did,
new line.
cause they just approved it, did they not?
Yeah.
What I
it's-
just saw?
Yeah, there's already some purchasing going on.
Yeah. I was going through all this stuff for the budgets. But yeah, I wanted to have a chat with them, cause yeah. I just saw the approval. Right now, I only have up to 2022, I need the 20. Yeah, I need to know what's going on with this new stuff. Nope, that's an Andrew.
Yeah, they, just for information too, the water line that's going from Denalda to Rosamond and Bulb. This is the last leg of Shirley McClellan. And they put out, Stantec put out the bid already for the line locating and the crossing locating. One bid, there was two bids. One came in at $120,000, which they accepted. And the next one was over 300,000.
Yeah,
So it's crazy.
That's a big jump.
And same thing with the pipe, they've already purchased pipe because it was 50% less, and in the new year, it's going up, they figure 10%.
so it's, yeah, it makes sense to buy now while the price is lower.
So the water fill cam lock, I looked into that.
Yeah.
We talked about, so there's a chance, and it happens to all truck fills around, but there was a chance that there could be contamination from a spray tank instead of for agriculture. At least they would use a tanker truck, some of them, to haul water, but some folks also take their spray unit right to the truck fill. And so the hose in the top goes in there, and there could be contamination from the residue that's in the tank. So the suggestion was to use, if people wanted to, if they're using it for food preparation and all the rest. The tank fill for the bottom, the big one at the bottom, the 3-inch cam lock. So I inquired on the cam lock, is $15, and the line is $15 a foot. So if people wanted to do that, then they could take their own hose with them. Or else maybe the village should have one that they can come when we're based out of the new office, that they can come and pick up and use and pay $5 for it or something, whatever what did you do in Caroline?
In Caroline, we had the cam lock at the office, and they would have to give a
Deposit?
$20 deposit to cover off the cost of it, in case it never got returned,
Is that refundable when they brought it back?
when they brought it back. but there was quite a few people that never brought it back.
Yeah,
For first time we had it where we actually had it connected, we had a chain on it so that they could just, didn't have to come to us.
It got cut.
Those got cut 3 times, so we said that was enough. We can't afford to keep spending money for people to just steal. And so the other thing became the $20 deposit to cover off the cost.
yeah, an actual, so if you add the hose and cam lock, like just to price it out at Bounty, it would probably be in the neighborhood of about $165 or something in there. Because you have to have that line that's the same one that's on the top and it's expensive.
Yeah, so again, I think it's a budget discussion topic because if we're looking at increases in multiple different areas. How much do we want to supplement a possible use that may not happen and spend money that you may not?
Yeah, well, I was thinking what we could do is just put it in the newsletter that it is available at Bounty and let people do their own and see what happens.
We can do that, no doubt, that's an easy one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bounty has these things if you're worried about safety issues at the water when you're getting it. So,
Okay, so Bob, in Brownie is putting on the course in Calgary in February. Did we have that?
I have it in my report,
Oh, okay.
yes,
There's one in Edmonton too, okay, we'll
Yep.
wait till then. So we'll get the gates done, opening the gates, so I'll get a hold of Aaron. So what we generally do is open the bottoms on the top and the bottom on beach access 3, which is by the hall.
okay,
Beach access 7, which is on Amy,
okay.
and beach access 8 on Nicole.
Okay, so I guess my question is there enough frost that you are not gonna have any damage done to the beach by opening these gates? That's just my question, because the temperature again is going up today to 3 and tomorrow's supposed to hit 8.
No moisture in the ground.
And no moisture in the ground.
Yeah, I was down walking on the beach about 10 days ago or so. And the sand was dry and it was not hard, but on beach access,
Because once you open those gates, you are going to have anybody willing and wanting to try, even though there's probably only 6 inches of ice. Take their quads out, they probably could go out with their quads to a point. But again. Is there gonna be damage on the beach? Is this a good idea at this point in time until we actually see some heavy duty cold and snow?
well, I guess that's a good concern.
Environmentally, and with everything that we have to put up with and go through, do we want to gab the risks with the way the weather is right now? I guess that's a question that council needs to decide, but I look at it at a perspective of the CAO administration, that this might not be a good time to be opening any of those gates, and if anybody wants to actually walk down is fine, but to drive,
It's mainly for the snow machines and the ice fishermen, but maybe we should just open the bottom one so the snow machines can get through there. Like they're on the lake already, there's fishing up in front of my place, way out there. I don't know. The concern is there. But I said at the Christmas party, stay off the lake, and then I had some people come and tell me they were already over at Ryder Island.
yeah,
But that's on them.
That's
Right.
a risk.
And to me, it's like, does council want to accept the risks of any damage on that beach? Because other people just wanna do what they wanna do because this is the season. Or do you wanna just keep it the way it is and whatever people do without us opening gates and allowing better chance of it? And if they're gonna use their snowmobiles, they can go off the boat launch and out that way and do whatever they're gonna do. Cause that's off of a roadway. I guess the question is, do you want to actually physically open the gates? If you do, I need to know. And you accept the responsibility of whatever happens to the beach for cleanup and whatever we have to do if we don't get.
Well, maybe we should wait for some more snow, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm more inclined to wait, just, you know, you say there's only about 6 inches of ice?
No, I don't know how much is.
So, well, at the bay, they're saying 6 to 8.
Which,
That's where I get it from what's up at Roshan Sands-ish.
yeah, so that's still not,
Not drivable with a truck.
yeah.
I wouldn't drive on it until there's 12 inches or 14 inches myself, but that's just me. But,
Which means in quads, it's.
I think we should just, I think it should be, wait until we think there's enough snow out there.
Or frost has actually set in, like right now, it's just been too warm.
Like you say, people, if they want to do it themselves, they can drive over to the boat launch and do it themselves if they want to.
Cause as soon as you open those gates, like I understand people wanna go down and enjoy the lakefront and go on the ice and go skating, which is great. You can walk down there, you can do all that. But do we really need people to be skidooing and quadding along the beach and making a disaster when it's so dry and loose and there's no frost?
Well, I haven't been down since maybe it was 2 weeks ago, so I don't know what the conditions are down. Have you been down there?
What's your thought? Do you think if we open the gates, we'll just hope for the best? Or do you think that, like, I have no idea. I'm just thinking about how people react, and as soon as you open something up, they're just going to take it and run with it.
Well, even if the bottoms were done on them 3 and not the top, so at least the snow machines can get up through there. I'm just maybe concerned about people going and just cutting the chains because they can't get through.
To me, if you really wanna get out on that ice, you're going to go straight down that road to boat launch. Like, it's not heaved, it's not, when I looked at it, because we've had no wind. It's like that's the smoothest I've seen that boat launch area ever. I remember when it used to be heaved up with tons and tons of ice built up, but it's not this year.
With the spring.
Yeah, we'll see how spring goes.
Okay, well, what do you think?
I don't
It's
know.
hard.
Ed, what do you think? Cause you know more about it than I do.
Well, I don't know. I don't think there was any sense in wasting a bunch of time building that skate rink out there that they don't know. I mean, if they can't get down there to it, most people take their side by sides down there or skidoos or whatever. And I don't know if we think it's gonna screw up the beach area. We should have thought of that 15 years ago. I don't know. Maybe it is. I just don't want, if we decide not to open up the gates cause I'm gonna be the first one to hear about it. And I'm just gonna say, whatever. Talk to somebody else.
Like, I understand what you're saying, I'm looking at these conditions as exceptional conditions that we're in. But if you guys are game, then just say, okay, we're gonna open the gates and I'll open them all.
Well, you can't open them all because there's no, some of them, there's no access. Like the one in the front street there.
Front Street, okay,
Now, we
You
don't
can't,
want
you
that,
can't
it's
be
too
open.
dangerous anyway.
Yeah, it can't be open.
That's the
Okay.
far end, isn't it?
It's 3, 7, and 8.
The far end.
3, 7, and 8,
Yeah,
okay,
so just 3, 7, and 8 at the bottoms, not the tops. So that would let at least the side by sides and the snow machines down there. And there's nobody that's gonna ride their snow machine on where there's no snow. I
No,
can't-
once they get down there, you're going
so it's-
straight out. I mean, just with my experience, whenever I go with the rest of the guys and the girls out there, it's just point of entry and that's it. But yeah, like you say, we're not driving up and down because number one, if there is enough snow, then you don't know how many ramps you're gonna run over or docks or whatever, so people stay off it. And I've never really seen any tracks of any kind going parallel on shore. They're just always going straight out,
okay,
so.
Yeah,
That's just my thought, and my biggest concern is those guys have spent a lot of time and interest, and there's still a lot of interest in that skating rink down there, and I mean, we don't got no other options but to put it out there because we got ice,
yes,
that's the only place to do it, so.
oh, I know, they're building.
And I mean, as far as falling through, it's probably froze to the bottom 150 feet out there now anyway, so, I don't know. I think
well,
there's probably,
they're
I'll
going
bet you
by
there's
all day.
I bet you there's at least 8 inches. I know the guys that are sledding out there are crossing the whole entire lake everywhere,
Okay,
everywhere, so.
Yeah,
okay, so we'll open up bottom gates 3, 7, and 8.
Okay,
Okay,
I can't see.
I mean, if there's gonna be damage, we can always lock them back up. Simple as that. I mean, if there's gonna be idiots down there, I mean, we'll find that out. Close it up,
Yeah,
oh,
you know?
that's good. Okay,
okay, that's all I got.
okay. Martha. Okay, my report is, we did the Canada Summer Jobs application, we submitted that December 7th, we applied for 3 summer students. We did the Canada Day grant, we submitted that November 16th. Our first actual snowfall came on the 7th. And yeah, we dealt with that. We've ordered more gravel, cause that seems to be our biggest issue, is we've gotta constantly be keeping up with the ice on the roads. I think that's the worst part of it all.
Just in that regard, there's sometimes it's on the wrong places.
Hey, can I add to that?
I'm
You know,
confused.
you know what would just totally resolve the whole problems with, a lot of problems with our graveling, is if we got a spreader.
Yes,
Yeah, we're just thinking
that's part of budget.
Capital.
Because that, your graveling will happen the minimum 10 times easier and take 10 times less time.
That's part of your guys' budget deliberations, is we need to
We should
get
have a-
us, yeah, we need to get a
'Cause
spreader.
what
to
else
spread
do
the
we
gravel.
use to put in the back of that truck during winter? Nothing, really. do we?
Exactly,
Well, just to hold water, everybody can do that with the tractor.
Well, yeah.
yeah. No, this is one of the
Because
first
he
things.
is not prepared and not qualified, because I've watched him 100 times, but I don't see nothing on how he spreads gravel.
Oh, yes, that tractor scares, so,
Wow, yeah, I mean, to do the hill over there that we've had, having all our problems with one individual, it takes him over an hour to just do that.
mhm,
But, you know, whatever, but if we had a spreader, it's very simple.
Easy, quick.
yeah,
The gravel, the pea gravel that we get, as far as I'm concerned, it does freeze up a little bit, So I don't see why we can't tarp down the cement floor, put a border inside our heated old shop and put a pile of gravel in there and it'd stay warm. Now, Aaron was telling me, he said the reason that can't do that is because that pontoon boat is not winterized. Well, what's not to winterize?
There's
The
no
motor's
motor.
screwed, so there's nothing else to winterize. So that thing should be parked out in the back 40 as far as I'm concerned. And we could
There's,
utilize that heated building with our gravel and park our truck in it and voila.
there's gonna be some changes coming in January, but that is one item that I'm adding to
Okay,
your
I
budget
don't need to
talk,
say anymore.
okay?
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I think this is crazy what we've been doing. We have to have the right equipment to be able to do the proper things, and with this weather the way it is, you can't go around and plow and then go back and sand. You must do it all at the same time.
I mean, Ken Mar here has a sander,
Yeah.
he's there to do a
Crystal.
lot of
Yes.
contracting for that. That thing works wonderful.
Yeah, Krista
Yeah.
said that too, for an buying at the moment, so.
Yeah, so those are things that we've already
But then
been,
that takes away your issue of not putting it in the right place, because the spreader will do it
Spreads it out.
perfect.
yeah,
And probably not waste half the gravel either. Because when he dumps it, he'll leave a pile.
yeah, and this, it's not
And
working.
you can't blame him, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah. Without the like, just, yeah.
It's not the right tool.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I think we should look into getting that.
Yes, your 2024 budget discussions are going to involve some of those things. The South Shore Traffic Study meeting, attended that on December 6th. We attended Matty courses through online, so we did a whole bunch of those. There was a lot. December 4th, met with Chamber Insurance, got a quote on municipal benefits for staff. December 13th, did not attend the SEMR tabletop desktop because I was sick. Sorry about that. December 7th, received first snow accumulation, not quite 2 inches, so we're gonna be having a look at your snow removal policy. I think we need to take a better look at this. Reviewed the current fees and service bylaw 25621. We are going to be bringing that to you guys for discussions and budgets, because it's your revenue source. Truck backup sensor is not working. We had that repaired because I will not have anybody out plowing or doing any of that kind of stuff without a sensor if they're gonna have to back up. The MSI capital grants, we dealt with that, and Brownlee LLP emerging trends in municipal law sessions are being offered in person and virtual in 2024. So I've, the information, you can go to the brownlee.com site if any counselor members are interested in attending any of those sessions. I've also got on to ARMA and did the EPA registration to get a number for that, to make sure I hit the deadline. That's
Alright.
for this, EPA thing, the new stuff with the waste.
Okay.
I also am having the health and safety employee manual redone and make sure that we are in compliance. So I've hired somebody who's gonna have that done beginning of January, so we're going to have a proper health and safety employee manual, all up to date, revision date, you name it, so that we can be prepared for approval on that in January, and then we're ready for our new staffing and summer staff, so that we're up to date. I have been in talks with CPP Environmental in regards to the shoreline management plan and everything, so there's stuff coming in for budget deliberations on that. Finding out about companies and screw piles and National Concrete and all that stuff for the new office. I'm just getting well informed, guys. But we got our first engineered plans, came through yesterday, did some minor adjustments, so as of January, you will see your first full office engineered plans. So everything's coming along, I'm done.
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
For your hiring of the 3 summer students,
yes,
will Aaron be designated as their foreman? Do we designate him to be, have that status? Or how should we do that? Cause I know we had some problems last year. I mean, they just run adrift on him when
employees will be under my purview and more discussion will happen within our budget and deliberations. I don't want to comment on anything at this point in
Okay.
time
okay.
until I make sure we've got everything in place and how the structure will move forward.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
All right,
Now you need, you're done your reports, and you sign to accept the council and CAO reports as presented. Remember that? Okay. Sorry. Okay.
I agree.
okay.
Yeah.
So business 9.1 snow removal policy.
I would like some input from council. I think it needs revision. What's your thoughts?
What is our policy now for how many inches?
That's the
Or
problem.
do we
It
have?
doesn't say,
That's the problem. We don't have an inch thing.
And I really don't think we should. Because some places it'll snow more than it does in other places. And the worst place is that hill over there where we have the most complaints about. You get that much snow and it's not good. He's there anyway, I think you should be plowing the roads, every time it snows.
Okay,
I mean, that's why we bought that blade for that truck, because you can do it real quick, like it's.
most municipalities usually say that, sanding will happen no matter what. Especially in really bad wet conditions. Plowing normally doesn't happen unless there is, what is it? 6 centimeters. Because they're always concerned about taking off the gravel, things like that. So it's really your guys' call if you.
And that's kind of what I disagree with that policy. It's not plowing snow before you gravel, because if you got 3 inches of snow, there's no sense of gravel in it, as far as I'm concerned. That's ridiculous. I mean, these highways out here are a good example. I mean, they'll sand them and
Mhm.
gravel them, and they don't plow the snow off them properly, and it just turns to mush, just like it's. dirt.
Right.
It's-
Yeah, the only difference is within your municipality, we don't use any salt.
Right. But the gravel is still.
Yeah.
It's still a factor in there.
Yeah.
I think it should all be cleared off before it's gravel, so.
Okay.
Depending, regardless of how much snow, I mean, we are paying for the service regardless. I mean, we have the equipment to do it, why not do it? And then we don't get any complaints.
Yeah. And just so you guys are aware, I did do some measurements and figured out we have 10 kilometers of road. That's a lot of road for one stop.
Well, he's got all week to do it, I mean, he's out there doing it.
Yeah.
It don't, you know, you can do one road and sand it and. You know, if you've got the right equipment to do that,
Well, he's got the map on the stuff that comes in order,
yeah.
Yeah,
but I don't think there's a problem with revamping some of this if it's necessary.
what do you guys wanna see in the revamp of a policy? What's the biggest things you want dealt with?
Well, I think probably maybe something should be put in there. Like, Ed said, some areas are worse than others.
Mhm.
When it's snowing, it depends on which way the wind's blowing and stuff, like. Have to do the tour and doesn't mean you have to do all of them.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
These problem areas.
yeah. And
To me, snow removal comes down to common sense.
Exactly.
Okay,
You know, like you can write all the policies you want, but there's just some common sense things, right? That like, you know, if there's a big drift, get rid of it. You know?
yes, yeah, no, and I agree, I'm just looking at. So right now, I'm thinking the policy's fine, it's just, I need to continue working within the staffing area and clearing up in the implementation. Make sense?
yeah,
That's
and honestly. Go have a look.
Been, yeah, working on things. Give me the new year, please. And, yeah,
Okay, so,
so we'll just leave the policy as is, so,
well, if you wanted to put a. Like, if you wanted. It's really hard. There should be a line in there, discretionary areas or something, I don't know. I don't, but, like, you-
Maintain problem areas to start. I think that should be level one.
and then the map is there, and the map is good
okay,
of priorities, isn't it?
Where are we getting our complaints from? Maintain those areas to start.
yep,
Anyway,
okay,
we better change the next item. Oh, I was gonna ask you though, and I just don't know what to do about it. Couple things is where Vance sits up that hill. So that's one behind Nicole. It's on our MR.
it's on our MR.
Yeah.
Behind the pole.
Yeah.
What is that? What is the issue?
It's that turkey tree. That's.
So. It's
It's a trail.
well, it was supposed to be a carriage road, but it's right here. Across,
Oh, that one. Isn't that across from the old assessor drive?
beside him.
Side, okay, I know exactly what you're talking about, okay,
So,
that road is not being maintained.
well, how can you? I mean, you could, but,
He can maintain it with tractor,
well, it
but it's iffy.
is, and
Because.
the tractor
so
already
much.
slid off of there a few years back and hit a power pole.
Okay,
Like, it's,
Thank God we don't have any complaints from those residents up there yet. They don't.
well, they gotta get some gravel on there.
They have to have access.
so do they live there permanently or?
Yes.
They do. Okay. I'll go
Vance
with-
is there permanent now, isn't he?
Yeah, him and Wendy both, Bob.
Okay,
Okay,
Yeah.
Like, it's a mess.
so he needs some heavy duty gravel.
I don't know, like some years, they would just drive the truck when you came up to visit. Just give the truck full bore as far as they could go and then walk in the rest of the way.
And not
Okay.
complaining.
So.
So we never hear about it because there's no complaints, so. But yeah, it is it's an issue. It's for sure.
Okay, no, I will, we just ordered gravel, so it should be in today.
But the thing is, I'm worried about is if the tractor goes up there, there's danger. Slide off, because it's only. What,
It's a narrow roadway. from
20
what I
feet
remember.
wide maybe?
Yeah. Going up one summer to take a look at it. There you go.
And then turning around up there, you're on private property.
Yep.
It's a real issue. But now they're up there all the time. They still have to have access. I mean,
So is it an actual physical road of ours, or was
No.
it made to be a driveway?
it was made, what happened was the right of way. Was just on. The two middle lots instead of the first one and the second one and the third one, and it was supposed to be a carriage route. And then it was to be on private property.
It's weird.
So the first lot there, number 11,
Yeah,
so it goes. The road is on the little piece of MR,
okay,
and then with land titles, it was just, the carriage road was just registered on 13 and 15.
1350. Okay,
So the intent was that the carriage road, which would have been a private road, was supposed to go through 11, 13, and 15. It never happened.
And there is what ATCO easement? Power line on that?
so in actuality, should their road not have been on the other side?
Come around from the back end,
Yeah.
that's too much elevation.
Yes, it's like this, yeah.
Huh.
We had to go around about that before.
So,
I think we can't discuss that today,
no,
but we can get some,
But it's something that we should look at in the future.
I've got a whole package on it and how to resolve it, but it never happened. Part of it was moving the power line off of there and going down the coal with it and ditching it to the balance.
But you should know how to look at it, when you get a chance, to see what the hell we're doing.
I think I remember it's coming into my, because I knew the assessor, as soon as I,
Because there's circumstances, there's issues with some of the landlords that are adjacent to it.
yes,
They-
yes. Okay, I think that's, we'll deal with it later this year.
Sure.
Yeah,
If we can figure out where we need to go. with it.
okay, and the other question I had on snow removal was, do we want to get into private driveways?
I mean, why should we have the liability, especially with our track? Circumstances, why should we create liability issue for ourselves? If we're gonna be starting private, right?
I'm waiting for you guys to have this discussion.
Sorry, Paul, you just added me something, so go ahead.
What's your thoughts, Bob, on the village doing private driveways on private property? Is that was your question, anything?
Yeah.
That's Lauren's question, yeah.
I've been asked that.
Which means
Few
doing
times.
driveways.
I don't think, I don't know, if we have the resources to be doing a bunch of private driveways, do we?
Well, we've got our tractor and our blade. And that tractor, in order to get, especially into the older part of the village, we don't have availability for room to be able to get in there and clean them out properly. And I mean, I just don't think we should set ourselves up and to have the liability against us to do that. Because I can see somebody getting run into with that blade, somebody's vehicle.
Yeah. So people want us to do their private driveways?
Well, I was just asked by a couple folks, yeah. Like the county does on the acreages and farms or whatever.
Denelda does too.
Is there a service that would come out and do it for them, a private service?
We have some right in the village that are private contractors that if they were contacted, they would certainly do it.
Ed, can you give me names?
Yeah, just give,
Greg.
I would give them the
Okay.
names.
Carl said he would do it.
Nelson?
Mhm. That's three that I know of.
And then there's also out of town, which would be
Patco is available.
Saddle. Oh, what's
Saddle
Brian?
Rock.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Brian Newfeld.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, it's just, what I'll do is, put these I'll contact them first. And then in a newsletter.
Yep.
And if you think of anybody else,
Mhm.
let me know.
There probably is. Well, I know Harold.
Yeah, I don't think he'll take any more
Oh,
on,
okay.
and Bob Green doesn't do it anymore.
No.
Charging equipment.
So at this point, I'm thinking you guys just want to leave the snow removal policy as is for now and let administration continue working on staffing and implementation.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Unless you want to prioritize, change the priority level to bad areas, main concerns, or
well, the two main areas are by Mackenzie at the end, where it goes into Jennifer.
Yep.
And then the other one would be on Second Street. That hill up there, but it's not a thoroughfare, so it's not that big a deal. But at the corner of where the four-way stops at,
that's
Yeah.
definitely.
that Jennifer Drive, coming down
I see.
and going back is terrible.
That's why you see Telus out there all the time.
Well, I'll tell you, once the lines are, that'll be something.
Okay, so I'm thinking at this point, you just do a motion to accept his information and leave it for me to continue working with staffing and implementation.
Okay,
Hold on,
next.
hold on. I'm gonna take his information.
Is there anybody with a quad that you can think of? Other than Harold?
Jerry Langard, Jerry Langard.
Was it staffing
He
in?
might.
He
Stop
does all our snow plowing for skating rink,
Yeah.
so he definitely put his name down.
Okay, so I have moved by whoever to accept policy, X snow removal as information, have CEO deal with staffing and implementations. Or do you need that last one?
Implementation issues.
Thank you.
Okay.
Who wants to take that? Okay, okay, I was gonna say
All
it.
in favor? Yep. Okay, under correspondence, the take it and leave it shed has been a real issue, and
And this is a budget deliberation, if I've ever seen one.
the thing is, it's the same with their dumpsters too, and it's not sometimes all residents that are doing it. You just don't know, but honestly, a washer and dryer there, and then that old furniture and things like that, that's just pure abuse, because like the transfer station in the town of Stettler's open all the time. If they're going to town, they can take that stuff there, and there's a metal pile there.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand why, like,
I don't know, and we've done numerous education notices in our newsletter. I think until I'm out there and
Well, some of that stuff just appears like at nighttime.
Yeah.
And then,
yep,
The problem with the take a leave shed is people really like it, and I think it has good value. You know, the problem is that the ladies that run it probably can't, you know, lift a washer and dryer, so, you know, if we want to have it, we have to help them out if people are gonna, you know, dump unnecessary on things like that, so we kind of are gonna have to help them out a bit by hauling stuff over now. As far as a budgetary item, I mean, how big a budgetary item is that something that our maintenance person will do and we hire somebody to help them with it, or how do we go about that, right?
well, in the past,
Yeah.
maintenance has been taking it, but sometimes it takes time and sometimes there's something more pressing. And plus the fact is, one guy can't lift a washing machine.
No, exactly, that's right. So we'd have to hire a second person on a contract basis to help them out with the big stuff, right?
I guess that's the only answer. I don't know what we're gonna do.
I think whatever we do, this should be tabled to budgetary discussions.
Okay,
I think so too, because it's gonna cost someone something.
So we're gonna
wants to-
table, we're gonna, hold on,
Motion to table, take it and leave it shed information to budget 2024 budget deliberations.
I mean, it happens at all the transfer stations, you know. And the ones that are walk-ins, it's just an ongoing thing.
But when it's cleanup time, they're right there. And they have the equipment.
Okay, Parkland Community Library. Or Parkland Library. Meeting minutes and, then there was also. Gail Kent sent some flowers out to Halkirk to his funeral.
Yeah, don't ask what happened there. Pictures were supposed to be the other pictures.
So, then there was a Parkland Regional Library, another board talk. FCM membership, and we're in that also.
So that one's okay, you approve the payment of that, continue on with it, that was one of my questions.
Yeah, we've been in that for years, I don't know.
What's the advantage again for us to keep staying this? Is there people that use the services? I
Well,
know there was one,
this is your federal, Federation of Canadian Municipalities. You can attend, it's very costly to attend, sometimes it falls in the west once every, what, 5-6 years? Conferences are very expensive, it's like a AUMA.
Basically, that's what it is, Ed, it's the same as, Alberta municipalities.
Yeah.
Except on the federal
Federal level,
level. And I don't,
what do we get out of it though?
how much is the membership?
it's $134
$134 for the year, or 135 for the year.
So I don't know what kind of membership they have, or,
It's, how do I say? The more voices they say, the better it is for advocacy,
yeah, possibly towards Fed, right?
yeah, to the federal government. So this is your advocacy. They do the advocacy for you to the federal.
Probably good to belong to it, you know, I don't, for $134.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure you guys are still good and we'll continue on with that, so.
Are we approving it? Are we not?
Yeah, we'll do that at the end.
Okay.
And then your QMP fire update, now that you have a new, just so you're. So we have a new QMP fire been approved. The new fire agreement's been approved between the two municipalities, and in the future, discussions are coming to update our end of our agreements, so just so you're aware. It'll be coming down the pipe.
So there's another fire chief been hired with the, on the county side.
There has been? No.
So they have, I don't know his designation, whether it's
I don't know.
the chief or deputy, so then there's Mark and Etchen and the new guy. He was with the county of Red Deer and is really, really experienced.
Would be. Yeah.
But all that information will come to us. It'll probably be in the paper too, because they just signed
Yeah,
Monday.
yeah, actually, there was a picture already. And then,
So they have it on their website that they're looking for one still. The county.
Well, they just hired him.
oh,
A day ago? Okay. That's when the post was made, but they're looking for a county fire chief. So I don't know.
Well, I don't know what this is about then.
okay. And then 10.7 is the request that was received by the mayor and myself. Looking to build a curling rink in the cul-de-sac at Beach Close. And so the recommendation is to table this for budget discussions.
Yeah, it wasn't well accepted down there, so they're putting it down at Tax Pond again.
Yeah. It is not easy making ice though, right now, I'll tell you that. I think multiple municipalities and their outdoor rinks are having an interesting time trying to make ice.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think it's just a crazy year.
yeah.
I have 4 motions then for this section.
Yeah. we will, so.
Okay.
But yeah, so the mayor did respond, and there wasn't good feedback for it, right?
No,
And so I think it should be something that should be discussed during your budget deliberations on future considerations. Locations.
yeah, maybe there is something rather than, near to Jack's Pond or something that could be.
I think our biggest hurdle is to find out where to put it, like you
Yeah.
say. And not have any opposition to it, because that's gonna be our biggest hurdle.
Yeah,
Very similar to community garden, nobody wanted next door to them, so why would they wanna have a curling rink and a bonfire and a party place? I mean,
So maybe,
from what I hear, we've got opposition at Jack's Pond too,
yeah. I
they're
do,
doing a lot of stuff,
yeah,
so where do you go? You know?
yeah, and like even like light pollution, partying and things like that, so it's
I mean, we proposed to put a building up there to, for a heat building or a gazebo or some sort, oh. Yeah, I've heard opposition on that too already, so, I mean, where do we go with the budget? Especially for something like this, anything that pertains to ice. If it's outdoor, why should you budget for it? Because. If you don't have the weather, it's not gonna work, simple as that, I mean.
or if you don't have a place for
For it,
like-
so, yeah.
yeah, But that is something that maybe during budget deliberations is figuring out, do you need a strategic plan for outdoor stuff? What's the
Yeah, whether
proper?
it's curling or just bonfire or whatever.
Exactly, so that we can actually maybe start creating a plan and locations and making sure we do the proper
Right.
consultations and we get this done.
Yeah, kind of like a sports field.
Exactly. Yeah, so to me, this becomes budgetary and maybe that's the planning that has to happen so that when these things pop up anymore, you have a plan and it's already been vetted and we're done. Yeah, because right now it feels like because of the way the weather's been changing and stuff and we don't have any proper plans and people are just everybody's against things until we actually set up a plan and say, look, we gotta settle for something. So let's work together and make this work for the benefit of the whole community. Instead of the few.
Yeah, okay.
So what I would be looking for is a motion to table 10.1.
To leave it shed for budget deliberations.
And 10.7 to budget deliberations.
Okay, motion.
So that's the take it and leave it shed and the curling ring,
And 10.7.
yeah. Outdoor recreation, curling rink, etc. The budget deliberations. Does that make sense?
So was our 9.1, was that tabled also for budget? For the center, that kind of stuff, or?
Well, that'll come up.
That'll come up.
Okay,
Yeah.
Capital.
It's all Melissa.
Right now, I'm just working with the snow stuff.
Okay.
But in your budget deliberations of your capital,
Mhm.
these are discussions I'll be bringing forward.
Okay, so.
Okay, and then, so did you get,
Who moved it?
I haven't even got there.
Okay, cause I need to table 10.1 and 10.7 to 2024 budget deliberations.
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
Right,
All in favor?
Yes, I agree.
Okay,
and then what I would like is motion to approve
to continue to be a member of the FCM.
FCM membership payment or entering into FCM membership. How's that? Sorry, I'm trying, right.
So I have motion for a counselor or mayor to approve to continue and pay the membership of FCM.
Sure.
okay.
Okay, make it to vote.
Okay, I'm all in favor?
Yes,
So we covered everything off.
Oh,
now?
then the last one is for counselor to accept the remaining correspondences and information.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who wants to put their name on that?
oh, and-
Ed did you?
okay,
Yeah, moved in camera earlier, so now it's adjourned.
Okay.
11:58.
Adjourn, I'll move for adjournment.